During the 1960s, art began to change from a very constrained, formal, and sophisticated field to more of a category of work where contributors could really be more free with their contributions and really depict whatever they liked. Andy Warhol was one of the pioneers of this pop art era that came during this decade. Though he's most well known for his paintings, he also worked in the music and film industries as well. So he really was well-rounded in the pop art revolution. He began doing illustrations for Glamour magazine, drawing in particular shoes. Though after a while he got bored of this and decided to go on independently to glorify other everyday items such as celebrity faces and Campbell's soup cans such as this one here. Except you'll notice the one in his painting is different because it doesn't have an actual tomato on it. So Campbell's changing their product image is very inconvenient for my presentation. His work spoke to the crass materialism of American culture, and they were really a revolt against, again, the standards of painting and sculpture set in place before his time. As for music, Andy Warhol did not compose any himself, though he was the producer for the first album of a group called the Velvet Underground. Their performances were considered to be very radical in nature because they touted a punk rock style that was very unusual during their time period. Some consider the Velvet Underground to be even, quote-unquote, the ultimate New York band, end quote, even though they were only around for about 3 years. In film, Andy Warhol created hundreds of experimental, yet so-called innovative films between the years of 1963 and 1968, but he kept them hidden from the public, and they remained unscreened until his death in 1987, when he couldn't really hide them anymore. Camera movement in his works are very limited, and the audience is left to stare at the screen in wonderment and decide for themselves what's going on in the background. Most of his works were really a rebellion against the film industry, a direct blow, if you will, to their power. Some of his titles include Sleep, which is a silent film. It's in black and white, and it's 3 hours long, in which a gentleman named John Giorno is sleeping. And this action is shown from different angles around the room. And nothing happens except he just sleeps the entire time. At the end he might wake up, I'm not sure. Another title is called Eat, which isn't quite as long. It's only 39 minutes. It's also silent and in black and white, which was really one of the limitations to Andy Warhol's time. And in this work, a gentleman named Robert Indiana is eating a mushroom while holding with him a cat. Other selections from Andy Warhol include Haircut, in which an individual gets their hair cut very meticulously and slowly for about an hour, and Empire, in which the Empire State Building is shown many times throughout it. So Andy Warhol was kind of a wacky individual, though he did quite accurately predict the future. One of his quotes is that in the future, every individual will be famous for 15 minutes. And nowadays, with the advancement of technology and the availability of blogs and video sharing sites such as YouTube, literally overnight anybody can become famous. Another quote was that buying is more American in nature than thinking, which is very true nowadays with the financial crisis in which many people were buying more than they could really afford in the long run instead of thinking. So the reality of these quotes is quite stunning. However, he does have some more less serious quotes, such as, "I never wanted to be a painter, I wanted to be a tap dancer." So Andy Warhol, you can make what you want of him. He had many works, he was a very busy individual, though he was quite wacky and would never really disclose any public information about himself. So, you can decide genius or someone who needs to be hospitalized. And that's pretty much it.